Hello and welcome to the Car Diaries and a glorious day in sunny September. And behind us here we have another Italian stallion. We've not had an Italian stallion on the channel since back in 2019. So we've got the Ferrari 812 Superfast, featuring Ferrari's incredible 6.5 litre naturally aspirated V12 engine. Now this car, interestingly, the internal code name for it is F152M. The internal code name for the F12 Berlinetta was F152, so that should give you a little insight into just how many components this car shares with the F12. But it's not just the F12, it is the limited run F12 TDF. In actuality, this shares the exact same steering rack as the F12 TDF and also a number of suspension components as well. So without further ado, let's take a little look around this specific example. So this car has been very well specified. So we've got a number of carbon fibre options, including the carbon fibre front splitter, we've got carbon fibre side skirts, rear diffuser, which you'll see when we switch the car around, and also the wing mirror as well as, or wing mirrors, there's two of them, as well as a few interior features as well, which we'll have a look at once we're inside. So without further ado, let's spin the car around and take a look. So with a bit of YouTube magic again, and the car has been spun round. So as you'll see, we've got a very aggressive carbon fibre rear diffuser in the car, which is optional, but looks absolutely incredible. We've then got the stealth tailpipes, which produce a phenomenal V12 soundtrack, arguably one of the best soundtracks, full stop. And as we come round, you'll see we have the beautiful stealth finish alloy wheels with those massive brake calipers behind, of course in yellow, and they are carbon ceramics, as they'll need to be when you've got near enough 800 horsepower in a car. So let's have a little look inside. Now the interior in this car, very tastefully done. So we've got the narrow leather with Rosso contrasting stitch, Rosso seat belts, and the passenger display, which, believe it or not, looks amazing, but is a £3,360 option. Would you tick that box? Let us know in the comments below if you would or not. We've got full carbon fibre interior, including paddle shifters, carbon fibre steering wheel, carbon fibre around your tunnel, and I'm sure you'll agree, it looks absolutely incredible. So without further ado, let's get out and see what this car is like on this glorious day and try and get some heat in the rear tyres. So hello and welcome to the interior of the Ferrari 812 Superfast. Superfast standing for, well, let's see. Superfast. Superfast. 0 to 60, 2.9 seconds. Top speed, 211 miles per hour. This thing is absolutely awesome. And let's not forget, naturally aspirated as well. So 6.5 litre naturally aspirated V12, 789 brake horsepower through those rear wheels, which is just sensational. And yeah, this thing is essentially the most powerful naturally aspirated Ferrari ever, aside from obviously the very specialist stuff. So let's take this thing out in race mode and see. Yes. Just one more as I'm great straight here. Oh, what a noise! There's the police giving us a wave. That is how we roll. We met them earlier, so I shout out to them if they are watching us on YouTube now. But oh, listen. Oh, just insane. Matt's giving me funny looks at the moment. So yeah, the 812 Superfast is definitely super fast. Obviously shares a lot of technology from its predecessor, which was of course the Ferrari F12 Berlinetta, and the predecessor before that, which was the Ferrari 599 GTB. But in between obviously F12 Berlinetta and 812 there was the ultra rare and very, very expensive Ferrari F12 TDF. So this car actually shares a lot of the architecture from the F12 TDF, such as the steering rack is actually taken directly from it. Very quick, nice agile steering rack, which is absolutely incredible and exactly what you want. It also shares some of the suspension components, and it also shares some of the wizardry, which is rear wheel, easy for me to see, rear wheel steer, which helps improve the turning circle on the car, which is still shit, to be honest. There's no polite way of putting that. But it's a massive big long Ferrari, so what do you expect? Now, before we talk any more about it, I'm going to let you enjoy some flyby shots, because the scenery in front of me at the moment, which you are not able to see, is absolutely sensational. So cue some flying drive-by shots. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try launch control in the Ferrari V12 Superfast. That is quick. That is very, very quick. Oh, yes. That's what happens when you do 2.odd seconds 0 to 60. That is ridiculous. Gearbox is just so good in this, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. Right, compose myself. Right, so we're going to put it back into sports. Of course, we have the traditional Ferrari Manettino switch in this car, which means that we have 5 different driving settings, which are wet, sport, race, CT off, and also ESC off, none of which latterly I would want to touch because I'm not confident enough driver to do that. So for me, it's either wet, sport or race. Today we'll focus on sport and race because it's nice and dry and it's very warm as well, 14 degrees Celsius, which is pretty good going for Scotland in September. So we'll pop her back into auto mode and use that 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, which is fantastic. Gives you very comfortable smooth shift that you don't feel when you're in auto and one of the normal driving modes, or if you flick it into your race mode, very, very aggressive gear changes. Now this car ultimately is Ferrari's GT car, obviously front engined V12, albeit it's a more front mid engine, so the engine sits behind the front axle of the car, allowing for better weight distribution, and the gearbox obviously sits in the back of the car, so actually when measured it's approximately 51% of the weight at the back, 49% at the front, which is pretty damn good, to be honest with you. Now, what's the fuel like on the car? So it's got a 92 litre fuel tank, which is very good, which means if you average your MPGs out at about 23 miles per gallon, then you get about 450 miles range, which again, pretty good if you were doing a nice European road trip or something like that with the car. Now this car, beautifully specified in the side, as you'll have seen when we went through the interior. However, as I mentioned, the passenger display, very, very expensive, 3,360 quid. And then you get some simple things like Apple CarPlay. You know, my Golf GTI has that as standard. Great, I love Apple CarPlay, I wouldn't be without it. However, want it in this car? No problem, sir. £2,400. 2,400 quid for Apple CarPlay. What the I mean, Ferrari, come on. This car costs over 300 grand anyway, so, you know, include some things for free, please. So, as with all Ferraris, we've got, of course, the infamous bumpy road mode, which really softens your suspension up. The car is pretty comfortable overall, to be honest with you. The seats are very supportive. Now, my one criticism is, in terms of cabin space, my left leg was getting a little bit numb. I am 6'3", so it's my own fault for being so tall. I do tend to sit fairly close to the steering wheel actually anyway, so I don't know why I'm moaning about that, but yeah, if I was being picky, I guess that's one of the little gripes. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Obviously you've got your indicators and steering wheel, but you soon get used to things like that. My only one other criticism is probably the lack of a central display. I mean, you've got the passenger display, which is excellent, but they don't really need that. All the rest of the controls are, you know, you play around with your left screen using the controls on the left side of the steering wheel here, and then on the right side, the controls for the right hand screen. they're fairly small little TFT displays, and it's a bit footery trying to select radio stations and things like that. And if you were doing a European road trip, you would probably want to have a larger map screen rather than the little map screen on here, even if you specify the £2,400 Apple CarPlay option. Sorry for going on about that, but Ferrari, please sort that out. But let's face it, Apple CarPlay is not what this car is all about. At the end of the day, it's a V12 Ferrari, and it's about doing things like this. You need to remember, I am no Ayrton Senna, like, I'm not a professional driver, yet I'm putting power out, 800 horsepower out through the rear wheels in this thing. And that's when you realise how competent the traction control system in this thing is. It does so much to keep your stability, keep you in line and prevent you spinning this absolute V12 monster out. However, switch it off, which I'm not going to do, so don't expect that in the video, otherwise John will never lend us another car again. Switch that off and you'll quite quickly realise that you're not the racing driver that you think you are, and actually you're a bit of a novice. Because let's face it, 800 horsepower through the rear wheels is not something to undermine or, you know, take for granted. This thing is a missile, and it needs to be taken care of like a missile. You need to treat this thing with respect, or else it will bite you, and you don't want this thing to bite you, which it will go really wrong. So, in conclusion, the Ferrari 812 Superfast is, well, as I said at the start of the video, super fast. There's no doubt about that at all. It puts a smile on your face, it puts a smile on the face of every single person that you drive by. I've never had so many thumbs up in all my life. Everyone wants to be your friend, which is great. If you're not getting any friends like me, buy one. And yeah, everyone wants to sit in the car and get the photo taken with it, and you know, it's just amazing. It really is incredible what a car can do, particularly in these horrible times that we're going through at the moment, a global pandemic. It's nice just to be able to put smiles on people's faces, and I myself smiling as well, because I'm not always as happy as this, I promise you. So thank you very much for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Make sure to subscribe, hit that bell button to be notified of new videos, and thanks again guys, we'll see you in the next one. Matt hasn't realised he's left the GoPro in the car.